Shalom. Welcome back to Each One Reach One. We're continuing our study, Christianity versus the Bible. We ended our last lesson in chapter 15. We're moving along. Thank you guys for joining me again today. If you're still rocking, hey, the Most High is definitely leading you. You know, he has a purpose for you remaining here. You're still here throughout this exhaustive study. And we have not completely exhausted the lesson yet. You know, we got more to get done. It's necessary that we get it done. And today, you know, reminds me just how much, you know, this is necessary. Today is their unholy day, you know, Christmas. And I look all over social media and I see all the so-called Christians loving this day and enjoying themselves, right? I also see a lot of the so-called Christians in the world that are dying and meeting tragedy on this day in this weekend, because the Most High, he's absolutely upset with this day, all of the celebratory things going on, and he's ruining your unholy days for many of you. So like I said today and this weekend, and not just this today and this weekend, but you know, the entire, you know, week or so leading up, because, you know, that's when people are traveling and, you know, they're trying to get to different destinations to go spend the unholy days with their family or friends or whatnot. And, you know, I stay on my watchtower, you know, being a watchman, paying attention what's going on in the world. And there's a lot of travel accidents, a lot of deaths happening via people traveling right now to try to enjoy themselves during this unholy day. This unholy season, right? So got to bring it out. We got to keep at it. You know, today just reinforced it. Okay, so let's get to it. Let us give all praise, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh. We pray in the name of his only begotten Son, our beloved Master, our Savior, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai, Wahara Kakadash. Man, people look at you strange when you tell them that you don't celebrate these days. They look at you like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, no, what's wrong with you? All right, I get it for, you know, many of these other heathens and these people who have no, you know, no spiritual understanding, no religious inclinations. They're just, you know, moving along with tradition, right? You know, they don't consider the Bible. That's not the reason why they celebrate. It's just because it's a quote unquote American tradition, right? But you Christians, it's a little different for you guys, because for you guys, supposedly you're doing it for religious reasons, and because you're supposedly celebrating the birthday of the Son of the Most High, which the rest of us understand is complete BS, because we understand from reading the scriptures that he was born around the time of the Passover, right? And we understand how the Most High works, right? Winter signifies death, spring, life, new life, right? And that's what his son's coming was about. It was about giving new life to the Israelites. His birth was a sign. The timing of his birth was significant. The Most High would not do anything haphazardly. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he's very calculated. Winter is the time of decay and death. This is the reason why these heathens moved the time of his birthday to winter, because they celebrate death, and they got you guys to celebrate it right with them. You're taking part in the witchcraft and the spell casting right along with them. And you're supposedly into the book. You're supposedly read the scriptures, right? And the scriptures tell you this is unholiness. Scriptures told us that they will celebrate this day, that they would do the things that they do. You know, chopping down the tree and decking it out with gold and silver and so forth. And told you about that. Warned you against it. But, you know, that's the Old Testament. That's why your Christian pastors keep you scared and terrified of the Old Testament, and they discount the Old Testament so you don't pay attention to it, because there's many things that you would look at a little funny if you recognize the Old Testament, if you recognize those apocryphal books that were taken out of the Old Testament. They remove all that and tell you it's not canon, right? And tell you don't pay attention to it. It's not something you need to even pay attention to, because there's a lot in those books that will tell you the truth. It will tell you the absolute truth about a lot of things that they try to lie to you about. They can't lie to you about all these things unless they hide the things that will tell you anything to the contrary. And that's what they've done. But anyway, that's enough commentary. Let's get to the scriptures. Acts chapter 16, right? That's where we're going. Let's go. Acts chapter 16, verse 1. Then came he to Derbe and Lystra, and behold, a certain disciple was there, named Timotheus, the son of a certain woman, which was a Jewess, and believed. But his father was a Greek. All right, so let's get it again. We got to understand what's happening here, okay? Then came he to Derbe and Lystra. Why did he go there? Because there were Israelites there, okay? He's not going to the Gentiles by blood. He's going to the people who are the Gentiles by practice, by tradition, right? Then came he to Derbe and Lystra, and behold, a certain disciple was there, named Timotheus, the son of a certain woman, which was a Jewess, right? The son of a certain woman, which was a Jewess. So his mother was a southern kingdom Israelite, right? But we know you are what your father is. So he wouldn't have been allowed to be a disciple if he was if his father was a non-Israelite, but his mother was. That wouldn't be allowed. That wouldn't go. That wouldn't fly. So his mother was a southern kingdom Israelite who believed. But his father was a Greek, aka a northern kingdom Israelite. All right. And it doesn't say his father believed, so we're going to take it that his father didn't believe at this point, right? So his mother is an Israelite and his father is also an Israelite. The Greek being referred to here were the northern kingdom Israelites. So you see, this is an Israelite coupling, all right? Not an Israelite woman who's a Jew who is with a man who is a heathen or a Gentile by blood, all right? That's not what's going on here. All right, so let's continue. Which was well reported of by the brethren that were at Lystra and Iconium. Him would Paul have to go forth with him, and took and circumcised him because of the Jews which were in those quarters. For they knew all that his father was a Greek. See, so they took and circumcised him according to the manner of the Israelites, because it's Israelite custom. They knew his father was an Israelite, knew his mother was an Israelite. So he took and had him circumcised. Okay? For they knew all that his father was a Greek. So because it was important what his father was, because his father was a Greek, aka a northern kingdom Israelite, they knew two things. One, that he was an Israelite, and two, that he was uncircumcised, because the northern kingdom Israelites didn't keep the circumcision the way the southern kingdom Israelites did, because the northern kingdom Israelites were taken into captivity and they were taken away from their heritage. So they discontinued from their customs and traditions of their forefathers, and they went the way of the Gentiles by blood. They began to practice the customs of their captors. All right, let us continue. Verse 4. Matter of fact, no. I don't need to go any further. I got from here what I wanted to get from here. Let's Let's leave. No need to linger where it's not necessary. So let's get Romans chapter 9. Okay, Romans chapter 9. Romans chapter 9. Solicitude for Israel. All right. So this is Paul speaking. All right, who many of you Christians call the author of your faith. You know, this is one of the things that Christians love to say outside of, but that was the Old Testament, but the New Testament says, they love to say, but Paul said, that's another thing, right? But if you pay close enough attention, you see Paul with his own words destroys your doctrine of Christianity. Paul is not in alignment with your doctrine of Christianity. That is false. Another falsehood told by Christians in order to justify their false faith. Okay. But let's see what Paul has to say, again, in his own words. I say the truth in Hamashiach, I lie not. My conscience also bear me witness in the Holy Spirit, that I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. Why, Paul? For I could wish that myself were accursed from Hamashiach for my brethren, for his brethren. He wished that himself was accursed from Hamashiach for his brethren. You mean spiritual Israel? Well, let's find out. My kinsmen, he says, according to the flesh, his brethren and his kinsmen, according to the flesh, not spiritual Israelites, not anyone from any nation who just believes the same thing that he believes. No. His brethren, his kinsmen, according to the flesh, meaning by blood, by genetics, by DNA. Paul, a Benjamite, from the tribe of Benjamin, Benjamin being the youngest of Jacob's sons. So he would be number 12 of all the 12 sons of Jacob, aka Israel, where all the 12 tribes of Israel come from, 12 tribes, all being a nation, but divided into two different kingdoms at this point, right? He's talking about nationhood. He's talking about his people by blood. This is throwing out completely your Christian beliefs. But let's continue to see what else Paul has to say now that we have this foundation of how he feels, right? His heart is towards his people. But let's go back to the top of verse 3, all right? So that we can go into verse 4 smoothly. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Hamashiach for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites. See that? He leaves no wiggle room. His brethren, his kinsmen, according to the flesh, are Israelites. He wished that he could be accursed from Hamashiach for his brethren, his kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption. Wait a minute, Paul. But the Christians say that the adoption pertains to all believers in Hamashiach, Yahushua, regardless of what nationality or ethnicity they come from. That Gentiles have access to the adoption. The adoption pertained to Gentiles by blood as well. Paul, what's going on here? Who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption. The adoption pertaineth to his brethren, his kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites. That's who the adoption of sons and daughters pertains to. To whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants, with an S, plural, covenants, plural, meaning old covenant and new covenant both apply to who? His brethren, his kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption. Adoption pertains to the Israelites, and the glory, and the covenants, because we know the old covenant was made with the Israelites and Israelites only, right? Right. And he's telling you that the new covenant applies to who? The Israelites only. And the giving of the law. Who was given the law? The Israelites. Who else? The Israelites. But the Israelites. But nothing, not anyone else. The Israelites. And the service of the Most High and the promises. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. The Christians believe the promises pertain to them. And they said, but Paul said, what Paul is saying, the promises and the service of the Most High, the giving of the law, the covenants, the adoption, and the glory pertaineth to his brethren, to his kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites, whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, listen, whose are the fathers, and of whom, whose fathers? Their fathers of Israel, the forefathers of Israel, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Hamashiach came, meaning Hamashiach came to those as concerning the flesh, meaning the Israelites by blood, the flesh-born Israelites, not spiritual Israel, which is there's no such thing as spiritual Israelites. That's a Christian thing that they use to explain how non-Israelites, how Gentiles can share in the adoption of the Israelites. Because they knew that one day somebody was going to read and discover that the book says the adoption belongs to the Israelites, right? The promises and the service of the Most High belong to the Israelites. The covenants and the glory, it belongs to the Israelites. So they already had an answer for you when you woke up to that truth. No. See, spiritual Israelites, and you're a spiritual Israelite as long as you believe on the Son of the Father, the Son of the Most High. You can receive the adoption of sons and daughters and the glory and the covenants and the promises by just being a believer. No. It doesn't matter, your ethnicity or what seed you come from. Doesn't matter who your forefathers are. Doesn't matter. You just got to be a believer, they say. But Paul says you're a damn lie, Christian. You're a liar, Christian. Paul says your doctrine is a doctrine of devils, Christian. Paul says your pastors are full of shit, Christian. Listen, and see, this is another place where they get screwed up, but you got to see, I keep talking about, you can't apply these things to you. It says, whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Hamashiach came, who is over all. Who is over all. See, he says he is over all. Yes, he is over all. He's over everything, all of creation. He is over all. But he didn't come and die for you to receive the adoption and glory and the covenants, the service of the Most High and the promises. That he didn't do for you, unless you are an Israelite by blood, not an Israeli, an Israelite, not Jewish, but a Judite. There are distinct differences. One is an ancient bloodline. The other is by conversion, converting into a faith, a religious conversion versus a genetic ancient group of people, right? The ancient people by blood are different from the converts. The people who are now calling themselves the sons and daughters of the Most High, calling themselves the chosen people, are converts. They call themselves Jewish, meaning like pertaining to something or like something, but not quite it. They call themselves Israelis, but not Israelites. The word Israeli is not in the Bible. They call themselves Ashkenazi Jews. Ashkenaz is the son of Japheth, from whom the Gentiles come from. The Gentiles come from Japheth. These people who call themselves Ashkenazi Jews admitted they're in their own, but they profess themselves to be converts, not the ancient bloodline. They tell you, they admit to being converts when they let you know that they are Ashkenazi Jews. They are not Shemites. They come from Japheth. They are not of the seed of Shem. They're not. Some of them are indeed from Shem. Let me make this distinction. Not all of them. See, we got a habit of throwing everybody inside of a category, you know what I'm saying, that look the same, like saying all Black people are Hamites or Africans, right? When we get a habit of saying, well, all of these people are this, all of these people are that, or all these people can't be this, or all these people can't be that. So I got to make the distinction because I don't want to be one of those people. Some of these people are indeed Hebrews, but they're Edomite Hebrews. They're not Hebrew Israelites, they're Hebrew Edomites, right? Some are Hebrew Moabites and Hebrew Ammonites and so forth. So some of them, they come from Shem, but they're not from the blessed seed line, the seed line that received the promises. So they can be included because it came through Abraham via Isaac, via Jacob, aka Israel. Okay. Romans chapter 9, verse 17. For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. Therefore hath he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he will hardeneth. And whom he hardeneth, pardon me. Thou wilt say then unto me, why doth he yet find fault? For who hath resisted his will? But oh man, wow, Salakia, I'm tripping. Nay, but oh man, who art thou that repliest against the Most High? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? Hath not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor? And this is important because the Most High doesn't love everybody. This is what you got to understand. Just because he formed you, just because he's your creator, doesn't mean he loves you. Doesn't mean he has plans on giving you salvation or mercy or grace or honor or love. No, he can create you for whatever purpose he wants to create you for, because he is the creator. And you non-Israelites were created for two different purposes. One, to serve Israel, and two, to be a sword, well, for three purposes. Two, to be a sword, what's the term I'm looking for? A vessel, vessels of wrath. Yes, vessels of wrath, meaning your purpose is to be used for the Most High to execute judgment and wrath against those who he's upset with, those who he doesn't like, those who he hates, those who he wants to punish. And we were those who he wanted to punish for a time. So he utilized the other nations in order to punish his chosen people for our disobedience. But eventually, he's not going to have any need for the sword anymore. He's going to have to put the belt away because we're going to be all righteous. He's going to make us all righteous. It's not going to be necessary anymore for the other nations to be used as a whipping stick for his people, Israel. And lastly, some of you were created to be destroyed. Like Pharaoh was, he was created to be destroyed. He built him up. The Most High built him up only to destroy him. That was his entire point. It's the same point of why the Most High has built up America the way he did. He built up America, gave him all this power, all of this military might, all of this reach, made him a mighty nation for the purpose of tearing them down, for the purpose of him being glorified when he demonstrates his might, when he saves his people from the hands of this mighty nation, from all these mighty people. His people, the Most High's people, are the only people in the earth that have no protection, no strength, no might in their own hands. They have no military. They have no representation in law, in the courts, in the United Nations. They have no one or nothing in their favor, because the one thing that they're supposed to have in their favor, the only thing they're supposed to have in their favor, they don't have right now, or haven't had for a long time because of their sins against their power. And it is their power. We transgressed. So we lost our defense, which is him. He won't allow us to have any other defense, none other saviors. That's why he didn't allow Martin Luther King or Malcolm X or Black Panthers or no other groups to succeed in saving or helping true Israel. That's why he didn't allow Black Wall Street and Rosewood and all these other prosperous Israelite towns to exist and to thrive for long, because according to our curses, that wasn't allowed. So he used our enemies to tear it down because we were supposed to be punished. So that he had to take away everything. That's what you do when you have badass children. You take away their stuff. And you might have to whip them. And that's pretty much what he did with the slavery and everything that we went through. We got our asses kicked. We had everything taken and we got our asses kicked. The real true biblical Israelites, according to prophecy, are supposed to be at the bottom of society in the end of days. They would have to be at the bottom, and they would have to be in a position where they need saving. That's the whole point of salvation. It is for the people, his people, who are on the bottom that need saving because they are still being oppressed. They are still in the hands and in the land of their captivity. They're still being trodden on. What people does that pertain to? There's only one people. There's only one people. And it can't be those people over there. You know it's the so-called Negro. You know it's the Hispanics and Latinos that have, you know, the Negro blood. You know this. You know it's the native, the indigenous people who have Negro blood. You know it's not those other people. Why do you need to be saved? Why does the Most High need to come and save you if your people are the dominant people in society? What is he saving you from? Who is he saving you from? How is he glorified? By coming to save you, Christian. And you're not being persecuted. You're not being killed in the earth. You're not the bottom rung of society. What is he saving you from? Anyway, let's continue. All right, was I? All right, verse 21. Hath not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor, that's Israel, and another unto dishonor? That's all you other nations. What if the Most High, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with such long suffering, patience, the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? Meaning the Most High allowed the other nations to build up their sins and iniquities, to build up their wickedness and evil. He was patient. He patiently sat back and endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath, who are the other nations, who are fitted to destruction, because the plan is for their destruction. And that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy, who are the Israelites. He's going to make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy, the vessels who he would have mercy to. Who else needs mercy and salvation more than the Negro? Who? You? Stop the madness. Okay? Which he had afore prepared unto glory, meaning before time, meaning it goes back to his plan. It's always been his plan. It's always been his plan, which he before prepared unto glory. From the beginning, it was always his plan for our fall, our vindication, and rise. It is his movie, his story. It doesn't sound like the script of many movies that you heard of. You heard what they call the hero's journey. Who else fits that in the Most High in his grand scheme of things? Where do you think they learned this formula for movies and cartoons and comic books and so forth? Right? Where the protagonist, has a fall, right? They become the villain and, they have shortcomings and they fall from grace and then they have to go through many different things throughout the movie in order to build them and to make them into the beloved character that everybody is rooting for at the end. And then they end up overcoming in the end. This is his movie. It's his formula. And this is happening. But it's not happening to the entire world. It's happening to the vessels of mercy. Those who he had afore prepared unto glory. This is the Most High story playing out. It is the greatest love story, the greatest movie ever written. The fall and the redemption of the sons and daughters of the Most High. Verse 24, even us, whom he hath called, not of the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles, ? Those who are Gentiles by practice, the northern kingdom Israelites. Remember, because there are 12 tribes of Israel, and when you hear Jews, that only applies to the southern kingdom, which are 3 tribes, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Technically, Levi is also with the northern kingdom as well. They were. Right? They were. But then after time, then the Levites were pulled away from the other tribes because the Levites had a certain they couldn't perform those duties to the northern kingdom Israelites because the northern kingdom Israelites were dispersed and they were scattered and they were taken away from the heritage, meaning they were caused to discontinue from him and to be removed far from him. And it was the Levites' job to be the go-between between his people and himself. But he removed himself. So there was no need for the Northern Kingdom Israelites to have the Levitical priesthood. The Levitical priesthood was of no use to them. They weren't allowed that blessing. But anyway, let's continue. Verse 25. As he saith also in Hosea, I will call them my people, which were not my people, and her beloved, which was not beloved. See, because he did away with us in his wrath and his anger. He cast us from his sight, and we became bywords and African American and Negro and nigger and black and this, that, and the other, right? So now people say, those aren't the people. Those aren't the people of the Most High. That's why he says, I will call them my people, which are not my people, because we were done away with. And her beloved, which was not beloved. Which people were not beloved? This is not about religion. This is not about people who, who are in a certain belief system. This is about a nation of people. A nation of people, not a collection of believers. A nation of people who are a nation by bloodline, a bloodline people. People who are related by blood, not by faith, not by belief. All right. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, here in America. People say that the so-called Negroes, the so-called indigenous people and Latinos of Negro descent are not the people of the Most High. Everyone says that the people of the Most High are in that country of Israel over there right now. That's what they say. So everywhere around the world where the true Israelites are scattered, they are believed to not be his people. They are said to not be his people. So in that place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there shall they be called the children of the living power. Meaning everywhere the true Israelites are, and we're told that they were nothing, they were Africans and they were this and that and the other, they were Hamites and they were cursed people and they were not the children of the Most High, there they shall be called the children of the living power. Isaiah, the prophet from the Old Testament, also cried concerning Israel. Here again, once again, the Old Testament prophets, the Old Testament scriptures being referenced in the New Testament. But your Christian churches, your Christian pastors say you're supposed to do away with the Old Testament, have nothing to do with it. You aren't supposed to refer to it. It has no bearing on now, and it had no bearing during the New Testament time. The scriptures have determined that that's another lie of the Christian church. Okay? Isaiah also cried. What did he cry for? Concerning all the believers of the world? Concerning all the Gentiles and heathen nations? Concerning the believers in the Christian church? No, Isaiah also cried concerning Israel. Though the number of the children of Israel be as the sand of the sea. Listen, though the number of the children of Israel be as the sand of the sea, this is a prophecy, meaning he was given this information from the Most High to give to the people of Israel. Okay, remember that. Most High is not a liar. He doesn't make mistakes. He didn't change his mind. Listen what he says. Though the number of the children of Israel be as the sand of the sea, a remnant shall be saved. A remnant shall be saved. A portion shall be saved. Because 2/3 of his people must die in the great tribulation to come. 1/3, which is the remnant, 1/3 of his people of Israel shall be saved. Salvation is for the remnant of Israel. Salvation is for the remnant of Israel. Okay? All right. So we're going to stay in Romans. Let's get chapter 10 really quick. The word of faith brings salvation. Romans chapter 10, verse 1. Brethren, there he is, letting you know who he's talking to again. Brethren, when he says brethren, he's talking to Israelites. Okay. Brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to the Most High for Israel is that they might be saved. This is Paul. What did Paul say again, Christian? Brethren, my heart's desire. His heart's desire is for Christians? No. His prayers is for Christians? No. It's to the Most High for Israel. For Israel, Paul says. His heart's desire and prayer to the Most High for Israel is that they might be saved. For I bear them record that they have a zeal of the Most High, but not according to knowledge. And see, and this is true. See, so-called Negroes, you can tell we are a spiritual people. We are an extremely spiritual people. We have a zeal of the Most High, but not according to knowledge. This is the reason why you have many Negroes who are in the Christian church, many who are in Islam, many who are in Hinduism, and many other religions, faith, because we have a pull to the Most High. We have a zeal for the Most High. We have a connection. We can feel it. We know there's something about us, and it's something, you get what I'm saying? That's why we have spiritual inclinations, but it's not according to knowledge. That's the reason why they're chasing the wrong things. They're chasing Christianity. They're chasing Islam and Allah. They're chasing Hinduism. They're chasing all these other faiths, because though they have a seal for the Most High, they don't have it according to knowledge. They don't know that they're Israel. They don't know that the God of Israel is their power. They don't understand. They don't have the information they need in order to pursue the Most High the right way. So they go trying to pursue their spiritual inclinations in whatever way they can. Verse 3, for they being ignorant, see, they're ignorant of the Most High's righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness, have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of the Most High. See that? You're ignorant, Negro Christian, of the Most High's righteousness. And you're going about to establish your own righteousness. Because you're in Christianity, Negro Christian, you have not submitted yourselves unto the righteousness of the Most High. You got to come out. Fast, make haste. The end is near. There is going to be no rapture of believers. There is going to be a calling away of the elect of Israel, the 144,000 elect men of Israel. When the Christian church references the rapture, that's what they're talking about. They have fooled you into believing you're going to be taken away from here and not have to experience the judgments that are going to come upon the earth. And the truth is that you are going to be here. You are going to experience it. You're not going to be taken away. You're not going to be saved from it unless you are one of the remnant of Israel or one of the elect of Israel, or unless you are one of those heathens or Gentiles that are cleaving to the true house of Israel, to the true elect and remnant. That's how your blessings come. So it's important for you, Christian, to understand how your blessings come, because not knowing, ignorance is no excuse. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance will be to your destruction. I would have some serious questions for my Christian pastors if I were you. I would go to them immediately and say, you got some explaining to do. You got to make this make sense, because this guy is making a whole lot of sense. It can't be all the stuff he said. It can't be a coincidence. I see it with my eyes now. I didn't see it before. And I hear it. And it makes sense. I can understand what he said, and it makes sense. So now that he makes sense, what you said, Pastor, don't make any sense anymore. Have you been knowingly conning me? Or are you ignorant also? Those are some great questions every Christian should be bombarding and bludgeoning your Christian leaders with. Go ahead. Get to it. I'm going to leave you to it. And I'll see you on the next one. Let us give all praise, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashem HaMashiach, Yahweh Shai, Wahara Kakadash. Shalom.